I made a video about my thinking about my beloved and wanting to make him a sweet treat, a snackety-do, and I'm realizing that I was setting myself up to hurt my own feelings. So this is along those same lines. And just notice if this has any flavors of you in it. Okay, so I am, not every week, I make him these banana oat cookie things because he has a sweet tooth. So these are just made out of straight up bananas, oats, and I put toasted like seeds in it, like pumpkin and sunflower. Or I was out of that, so today is crunched up other different nuts. But look, the part of me that's tickling and trying to find out how I can do extra for other people so I can reinforce the story that I go, just like, I'm not just mediocre taking care of people. Like, I go over and beyond. I give small touches that are filled with love, because I love that story about me. And that story about me has hurt my feelings when other people don't notice my over and above. So I'm making these cookies, and they're just regular straight up cookies, except the nuts are different a little in this one. And I thought, oh, I could put lemongrass and ginger in it because I'm making a soup that's like a it's a miso ginger soup. And so I thought, well, I'll just put some ginger in his cookies too. Maybe I'll put even a little lemongrass, because lemongrass and ginger. And then I laughed to myself because, like, dude's not a foodie. Food, my favorite dish. And I noticed nuances about food. He doesn't smell the same way I do either. I mean, like, his sense of smell is not as enhanced and nuanced as mine. So he also doesn't taste things as enhanced, as nuanced as I do. He also doesn't take a bite of something and then look for flavors. Do you know what I mean? There are some of us who are like, oh, oregano. We're like, oh, it's Cuban oregano. Like people who are wine connoisseurs, and they're like oaky and nutty, right? So not everybody's like that. And when I add secret, like Easter eggs of nuances of flavor in something, because I'm putting extra love in it, and I expect him to be able, like him to come up later and go, baby, I just tasted that little bit of lemongrass and that was a delight for me. Probably that's not going to happen. And if I did it with the expectation that I would be rewarded for it from him by his noticing, I'm probably setting myself up for a bummer time. Now, if I put it in there for my delight, so that if I have any of those cookies, I can delight in the nuance and the taste, or just because I delighted that I put extra something in there, whether he notices it or not, that's different. But for so much of my life, I did not do it for my delight straight up. I did it for my delight of them noticing that I did it. Do you see what I mean? Do you see how it's different in a body? So anyway, all of these things, being friendly with you, noticing the way your brain works, noticing how it has worked, notice how it's trying to grab at that thing again, and then notice if it's worth it for you. Like you get to decide. Here's what. If I could, like, there's so much. If I could just only share this one thing, there are a million of the one things. But here's one thing. When you, like, once upon a time, you did a bunch of stuff for other people, sometimes because we were trained to, but sometimes because it delighted you. And then there came a point when it didn't delight you anymore for a whole bunch of reasons, right? A whole bunch of reasons. But what if you could separate out the reasons why you weren't delighted about it anymore? And then you could decide, do I want to do that because I want to do it, or I did not want to do it because I don't want to do it? And if you could just do those extra things, because there's a ton of shit we got to do that we don't want to do. It's just regular old breathe in and out shit, right? Chop wood, carry water. But a lot of us torture ourselves because we go over and above for people who aren't noticing the things that they don't notice it too, because it's a thing that we notice, not really a thing that they notice. And we make ourselves feel bad, and we feel like they're doing us dirty, and they just don't notice. And we don't notice that we're doing it. So you get to decide, like this is what I mean, like serving out of the overflow of your heart. Like, I'm gonna put Ginger in these cookies, and maybe he's gonna notice it, or maybe he isn't, or maybe I'll just walk around with a little giggle on my face because I know he's getting extra ginger in him, which has good antioxidants. But not have an expectation that he would notice, he would come and say something to me about it, even think to say something to me about it. Like, maybe he might notice, or maybe he might think, ooh, maybe she did something a little weird, but they're not bad, so I'll eat them anyway. I mean, who knows? Right? I love you so much. Like, life can be so much different when it shifts how it is in our head and in our bodies. And like, when I'm not fighting with myself about stuff at home, then if there's a job that I need to go to while I'm working towards something else, like, I'm not already so tender about home that work is even more. Or I'm not so tender about work that it makes home hard. See what I mean? And I'm not so tender about both these that I make myself worn out and I don't do the thing that is my heart. Right? Okay. Happy Sunday, y'all.